Hi, everybody. So I just want to go through very quickly some basic tips for how to make beautiful content that you can do right from your phone or your home computer, no expensive software necessary. So the first major tip that I would like to offer is to use the grid lines in your phone's camera app. If you go into your camera and you go into your settings, there is an option to turn on grid lines. It's just a setting that everybody has. And this is really helpful because this can help you align with what's called the rule of thirds. The rule of thirds is a fundamental principle of photography and video. So it basically claims that any picture is divided into 3 rows going across and 3 columns going up and down. So as you can see, that makes this nice grid. And the idea is that our eyes naturally flow to either the lines or the intersections. So to make a photo with beautiful composition, you want to align your subject within these rows or columns. So here you can see that the flower is taking up the right column, the honeybee is standing along a line, and its eye, which is a focal point for a honeybee, is right on an intersection. So grid lines in your app will really help you easily and quickly follow the rule of thirds. And that brings me to my next point, which is to take advantage of negative space. Again, you can see that the honeybee and the flower, they're only taking up about 2/3 of the picture, and the whole left and some of the top and bottom are just blank background. Negative space serves 2 purposes. It helps us concentrate on our subject, and importantly, for a competition like this, it allows you an easy place to add text. You don't want to overlay text over a really busy or colorful background because it will be hard to read and very confusing to your eye. So negative space not only makes for a beautiful photo, but it's also a really easy way to make your fact pop. And then finally, editing is not cheating. Take advantage of your phone's filters, your phone's editing capabilities, really play around with the color available. Beautiful photos have all been edited, so don't think you need to take a perfect photo. You can sometimes create a perfect photo after the fact through editing. So there are some principles that apply to both photos and videos, so I'd like to share those with you here. The first is you really want to make sure that you are focusing. Your phone will automatically set focus to whatever is closest to your lens. However, sometimes the subject of your photo is actually not the first thing. It's a little bit in the background. Or maybe if you're taking a video, your subject is moving around and you want your focus to follow. So if you just tap on your subject, it will say, okay, this is the important thing. This is the clear part of the photo. And if it's a video, the focus will follow as you continue to record. I'd also like to emphasize that in most cases, you should not use your flash. You can see in this photo that these people look really bright and shiny. There's some harsh lines on their face. Flash is usually not very flattering. Sunlight is the best light if you can take photos outside. If you're taking them inside and it's a little dark, I would encourage you to take a photo with and without flash and see what looks better. And remember, you can always adjust brightness when editing, so maybe that can add a little additional light to your photo. But try to avoid flash when possible. You also don't zoom in. Cameras on your phone have what's called a digital zoom because it can't actually physically get closer like those long photography lenses. It just zooms in, like if you think about zooming into a picture on your computer. And this creates a grainy photo or video. Also, you are more likely to have a blurry image because if it's zoomed in, any small movement of your hands will translate 2 or 3 or 4 times more into your photo or video, so it can get quite blurry. It's better to just get closer to your subject, walk closer to it, make it come to you. And then finally, simple but clean your lens. It's your phone, so it's very easy to forget. So just wipe it off with a towel or a soft cloth, and that can really go a long way. So for taking video on your phone, I think this is really, really important. We use our phones vertically all day. We're texting, we're making calls, we're looking at Facebook, we're writing emails vertically. But almost every video platform prefers a horizontal photo. Think of YouTube or Facebook video player, or even your TV or a movie theater. The videos are always shot horizontally. So even though it feels natural to hold our phone vertically, it's not going to look good as a digital output. If you see the example of the photo, I'm sure you've seen this before. Someone takes a video vertically and then there's just black bars or maybe some blurry bars on the side. You really want to avoid this. And the simplest way is just to hold your phone horizontally, even if it feels a little strange. You also want to avoid backlighting. So what I mean by that is don't have light behind your subject. This will make your subject appear dark and really, really hard to see. So just you always want to have the light in front of your subject, not behind them. Also, this sounds simple, but it's easy to forget. Use both hands when you're holding your phone. Again, we're really used to just using one hand to hold our phones, right? So it's not the most natural, but if you use both hands, it will make your image much more stable. It's also a good reminder to hold your phone horizontally, because if you're holding your phone horizontally, you're more likely to need both hands. Better yet, you can rest your phone on something stable. If you have a tripod, that's great, but also set it on a book, rest it against a chair. Just something that's not moving very much will give you a much clearer video. And then finally, this is a bonus. If you have an external microphone, it will give you better sound. However, I realize most people probably don't at home, and that's fine. You can use the mic in your phone, not a big deal. But if an external microphone is available to you, it's nice to have. Most people think of creative tools. They think of Photoshop, Illustrator, Premiere, InDesign, and the Adobe suite really is the industry standard, but you don't need expensive and professional software to create nice images at home. So I want to share a couple free tools with you that are all available online. So the first is for making images. So you can use either Canva or Designer. These are really simple drag and drop tools. They come with free stock images, lots of different text and templates. So if you're really stuck in a creative block, you can look at their templates and see what's available. That screenshot is of Canva, so you can see that you can change the color, you can change the size. It's really simple and easy to use. Canva and Designer are pretty similar, so I would encourage you to visit both and just see which interface you like better. You can't really go wrong. For free video editing, there's a couple options available. The first is Viva. Viva is only an app, so if you like working on your phone, if you're very comfortable with it, Viva might be a good choice for you. The second is WeVideo, which is both an app and browser, so you can do it on your phone or your computer. There's lots of free stock content, and for video, that means that there are free video clips available. So think views of a city or ducks on a pond. You can get a lot of that kind of free content available. And the last is Animoto, which is only on the computer, but they have some video templates. So again, if you're like, I want to make a video and I'm not sure where to start, they have some ideas of how a video might go that you can build off of. And if you want to make an animation, I can recommend Animaker or Powtoon. These are both very simple. Again, nice drag and drop tools. You can make your own characters. They do have video templates. This screenshot is from Powtoon. You can see I've selected the male nurse, and it gives me different options for what should his pose be like? How should he be standing? I can change his hair or his clothes or build a new character. And this is just a template I grabbed on COVID-19. So you can see that there's some information suggested. There's the total runtime at the bottom. It makes it really, really simple to make an animation very quickly. And these are all free. And if you want more capabilities, if you really want to be able to act similarly to Photoshop, because the tools I shared, they're nice and they're very easy, but there's not as much capability. So if you want a little bit more available to you, here are some alternatives to Adobe that are free. Illustrator in Adobe is where you're going to make graphics, drawing, vectors, illustrations. So Gravit can be a free alternative for that. Photoshop is where you do image editing, you do lots of retouching, maybe you need to remove a background from a photo, and so you can use GIMP in the same way. And Premiere is Adobe's video editing software, very robust, and you can get similar functionality from HitFilm Express. And then finally, if you do have Adobe Creative Cloud available to you and you want to use it, awesome. It's very complex and very robust, so everybody needs help sometimes. So I've pulled a list of some helpful resources for new users. These are things that I use all the time and I know are really helpful for the basics. They're all YouTube videos, and most of these people have a lot of other really helpful Photoshop content. And then the last link is actually to the Adobe Photoshop YouTube channel, so there's a lot in there. Same thing for Illustrator. Here are just some really helpful starting tools that I know you're going to need to use, like paths and shapes. And then that last link is for the Illustrator Tutorial Center, where you can find questions or answers for any of your questions. Lastly, to be honest, I don't do any video editing, so I couldn't pull starter tips for you, but the Premiere Tutorial Center has everything you need to know. So as you're building a project, if you have a question, you can definitely check out the Tutorial Center and they will probably have something that will answer your question in there. Thank you all so much for joining today.